All right. What's up, everybody? Give me a couple seconds. Make sure everything's up and running. Yeah. So I'm not live on Instagram, which I'm sorry. I know sucks for those of you who like Instagram. But um I don't know. I don't know why Instagram gave me a hard time. It didn't even save the live that we did earlier, so I was kind of bummed out by that. But I'll just save the live from TikTok and then just kind of like port it over. Um, you guys just gotta give me some time. I'm still like sending out like emails and stuff. So earlier, thank you guys so much for the live. Um, I was able to get through my presentation as well as I really gave you guys some really good information. I got some really good questions in my DMs and in my emails. But I really wanted to come back live for you guys, even if it's just like for 30 minutes to kind of talk to you guys about credit building, because that was the one part of my presentation that I wasn't able to get to just because of time constraints. I mean, I really wanted to talk to you guys about credit building because that's important. I talked to you guys about what credit is. I talked to you guys about how to read a credit report. And I talked to my military people specifically about the benefits that you have because of your service due to the Service Members Civil Relief Act. But what I didn't get to talk to you guys about is about building credit responsibly. And that's really, really important, right? Building credit responsibly is key, so that you're not late 20s, early 30s, and you're ready to finally buy a house, right? And you can't because you messed your credit up in your early years. And so it's really important that now that you understand how, like, what credit is and how it reports to the credit bureaus, you understand the proper way to build credit. Number one, right? The number one thing that I like to tell people is that you do not, right, have to go into an astronomical amount of debt to build credit properly, right? And the accounts that you're adding to your credit profile need to enhance your life and support your current spending habits. You should not be overextending yourself just for the sake of saying that you have credit cards or you can go get credit cards, right? I always tell you guys, those people who have those big stacks of credit cards, who get on social media, like, if you want to live like me, right, in front of the rented Lamborghinis or even the purchased Rolls Royces, oh, if you want to live like me, you got to do this. You don't need that. I'm going to be honest with y'all, and this might hurt a little bit. Everybody is not meant to be a millionaire. It's not meant to happen. Just like everybody is not meant to be an entrepreneur, right? We have to have some people who work these businesses to make these businesses successful. And so the first things first is you have to kind of like, make attainable goals. It's not enough to say I want to be a millionaire, right? That's such that's a farther ahead goal. What goal can you set for yourself right now? So if you say, okay, well, I want to, get enough business credit to where, I get $1 million in business credit for my business. Okay, so where can you start? Start with your personal credit. Okay, so where can I start with that? Do you have any credit cards on your accounts? What kind of loans do you have on your account? Do you have loans on your accounts? Are the accounts that are on your credit profile hurting or helping your credit worthiness? You really have to be able to differentiate. Hey, girl, hey, you have to be able to differentiate between the two, because not all accounts are created equally, right? Not all accounts report to all three credit bureaus. Not all accounts are positive in nature. So it's really important that, and I say this all the time, it's really important that you understand the fundamentals of how credit work and the concept of credit. So for example, would you rather get a credit card that only reports to like one credit bureau, or an account period that only reports to one credit bureau just because it's easy to get it? Or would you rather get an account with a company that you would love to build a relationship with for your future, that reports to all three credit bureaus, and could really enhance your current lifestyle? It's just a little bit harder to get. So you gotta really weigh the pros and cons of each account. I think that, like, the number one question I get is, should I get this credit card? Should I get that credit card? And when it comes to credit cards, I hate busting y'all bubble, but I can't tell you what credit cards to add to your profile. I can tell you what credit cards are beneficial based off of your spending habits, right? So if we sat down at an appointment and you'd be like, well, I spent a lot of money on this, and I see the entirety of your credit profile, then I could give you a better answer. But coming in the comments and telling me I have a 725, can I get an Amex? I don't know, can you? What else do you have on your credit profile? A lot of you think that all you need is a good credit score. And remember, when we talked earlier, I showed you why that's not the case. You need a good score and a good profile. Though these two things are related, they're separate. And you have to be able to identify that. You have to be able to know, okay, baby, I text you and say what's the options for the wings? You have to be able to know, okay, if I add this account to my profile, yeah, it could help boost my score, but it'll really help, the worthiness of my credit, the credit profile history. You need to know, like, do you need another account right now? Is that even what your profile needs? And in order to understand that, you need to understand, how is your credit score calculated? Remember, we went over that earlier, the pie chart. 35% of your credit report is on-time payment history. 30% is credit card utilization. Baby, give me 10 wings, please. 15% is length of credit history. 10% is mix of accounts. 10% is inquiries or new accounts. So you really need to be able to understand how all of these things play together in order to understand what should you be adding to your credit profile. When you are looking, especially for those of you who are graduating college or, graduating high school and really entering the world of work, the first thing you really need to sit down with yourself and ask is, what are my goals? What do I want to do? And how long do I have to do it? Right. So if you're sitting down and you're working on a 5-year plan and you're saying, in 5 years, I want to buy a house. Okay. That's a good, start. Okay. I have 5 years to really position myself to buy a home. What do I need to do? Okay. So let's talk about mortgage scores, right? So then you would pull up your mortgage scores and see where you currently sit. All right, this, and this is my current mortgage scores, my FICO 2, my FICO 4, and my FICO 5. All right, I got my mortgage scores together. I'm not really in a good spot yet, right? Like, my credit isn't where it needs to be in order to qualify for a loan now. So then you pull your reports and you read your reports and you identify what sections of your credit report are you struggling in. Is it your on-time payment history? Is it your credit utilization? Is it your length of credit history? Is it your mix of accounts? Is it the fact that you're not opening up any new accounts? You really want to be able to dissect your credit report, because your credit report will tell you exactly what is wrong, what you need to fix to really get you to that next step. And then I always tell people, like, another really useful thing that a lot of you don't really pay attention to is denial letters. Usually when you're denied for something, and you get that letter in the mail, you throw it in the trash, right? Because fuck you. You already told me no once. You ain't got to tell me no twice, right? But when you get denied for any kind of credit legally, they have to send you something known as an adverse action notice. An adverse action notice is a letter from the creditor, where they tell you exactly what on your credit report made them tell you no. What on your credit report made them be like, no, this is not an attractive option for us. We're going to pass. And in doing that, they're literally giving you the keys to success. Because if you hyper focus on the things that are, hey girl, if you hyper focus on the things that they're telling you, like, listen, hey, this right here is what maybe you got too many inquiries in a 12-month time period. Maybe the balances for any delinquent accounts you have are too high. They will literally tell you exactly what you need to fix to qualify for an account with them. So if you fix these items, then you can then go reapply to see if you now qualify. It's nothing wrong with getting denied. And I really think we got to get out of that mindset. Obviously, we're kind of bummed out because, like, it just didn't go in our favor. Obviously, you don't apply for things to get a denial letter, but we got to stop looking at denial letters as like an inherent negative, right? We got to stop looking at it as if, like, we got denied and now it's the end of the world. We can't do nothing else. Like, I'm just never going to get it. You got to stop thinking like that. Now, as far as what accounts should you be adding, and specifically, I want to talk about credit cards for a second. The credit cards that you add to your credit profile should support your current spending habits, not encourage you to spend more money. Yes, Navy Federal gave you a $25,000 credit card. Does not mean you need to go out and spend $25,000. Okay? Like, it's all about evaluating your current spending habits and then finding a way to be rewarded for the spending you're already doing. And what I mean by that is, most higher tier credit cards offer perks, right? You get cash back, you get points, you get miles or something like that, right? Once you identify what your preference is, so do you want points or do you want cash back or do you want miles? You kind of have to ask yourself that. Once you evaluate what you want, then you evaluate, okay, now what cards can get me there? I always tell my clients, print out a copy of your last 30 days of your transactions for your main account. So your bank statement, right? For your main bank account. I want you to print that out and I want you to go over it. What are you spending your money on the most? And now out of those items, right? What do you qualify? Like, what would you like to see points for? So, for example, for me, I eat out a lot, right? I eat out a whole lot. Even when my kids eating something out the house, I'm eating out. I don't know. I just like, and it don't even always be fast food. Sometimes it's healthy stuff, right? But I just like eating out. I spend a lot of money on DoorDash, and so I wanted a card that was going to benefit me for eating out a lot. I travel a lot, right? With the speaking and doing all this content creation and then speaking and all these stuff at all these different places. So then I needed a card that was gonna, hey, what can I get points for all these flights, for all this gas I'm spending? So I evaluated my spending and I added cards to my profile to reward me for the spending that get that new charger. What new charger? Not get that new charger. I needed a card that was going to reward me for the spending that I was already doing, not necessarily encourage me to do more spending. You get what I'm saying? Like, because that's just not going to do nothing but put you in more debt. Now, remember, going back to, if you've been following me for a while, you know my concept. Credit rules everything around me. I encourage people to use your credit cards more than your debit cards. I've been doing this for over a year now, right? I've been talking to you guys for over a year now, telling you how there honestly is no inherent benefit to using your debit card. Even those rare debit cards that give you cash back for certain purchases, honestly, there's no benefit to those either. Did you know that credit cards have more protections against things like fraud and identity theft than actual debit cards? Like, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't understand why you're not supposed to use your credit cards for emergencies, because an emergency implies that you don't have the money to cover that purchase. And so you are actually borrowing money that you do not have. Now, while some people can handle emergencies here and there, a lot of people, once an emergency happened and you're so unprepared because you don't have money saved, you're not really managing your money properly. It's a constant game of catch up after that. And you're behind the eight ball. Like, you're constantly. And then, for example, if you don't have the best credit, you could have, it could be that, sorry, I got a text message. If you don't have the best credit, you could have high interest rates. So if you already didn't have the money for the whatever it was that you spent, and now you got a higher interest rate, so now it's going to take you forever to pay this thing back because you just didn't account for this emergency happening. And obviously, credit cards are not for emergencies. Your money is for emergencies. When an emergency's happen, you should be able to drop your cash on that emergency, not drop your credit card. When it comes to credit cards are supposed to be for your everyday purchases. Credit cards are supposed to be what you're using in a grocery store, what you're using at the gas station, at the Best Buy, at the Barnes and Noble. You get what I'm saying? You're supposed to be using credit cards for everyday purchases, and you use your money for emergencies. Now, I get it. A lot of us, our issue is we're not making enough money, and it would be very ignorant of me to be like, well, just go get another job, right? But that's a whole separate conversation. When it comes to adding credit cards to your account, it should be said that you should not be adding accounts to your profile if you still have a money management problem. You shouldn't even be looking at building credit until you can establish a solid foundation for financial literacy in general, paying your bills back, knowing the difference between an APY and an APR, knowing, how to budget the money that you do have, right? You need to know these things before even coming to the credit side. Like, by the time you come to me to start building your credit, you should already have an established foundation financially to the point where you know how much money you're bringing in every month. You know how much money you can afford to come out every month. And so in knowing this, you know how much you're willing to put up. You get what I'm saying? For credit building, you know how much you're willing to put up to establish yourself, and establish your credit in a manageable way. This is not for the people who get on Facebook and get in these Facebook groups and just add accounts to their profile just because somebody else in the Facebook group added these accounts to their profile, or because someone all these people in the Facebook group, they're getting $25, $50, $60,000 credit cards and you want it. So knowing you don't qualify for it, you apply for it anyway, and you keep applying and keep applying and keep applying. Or the people who are not really willing to see the process through, you see the result and you're willing to skip whatever chapter you have to do to get to the end of that book. My husband is so silly. I just the main question that I got after the live was like, oh, this is my score, and do I qualify for this card, or do I qualify for that card? And I think the biggest thing that I really wanted you guys to understand is that it's not just your score. Just your score is not what is used to determine whether or not you get accounts. Because if you have an 800 credit score and you have 23 inquiries on your credit report, you're going to be denied. You have way too many inquiries in this 12-month time period. You're going to be denied. If you have high balances on credit cards that you already have, they're not going to give you another credit card. You can hang that shit up. It's not happening. And it's not that you're a bad person when these things happen. I know a lot of people tend to internalize denial letters or internalize the fact that they don't qualify for things that other people do, even though they feel as though they're doing better than other people. And I mean this with love, and I'm saying this with love. Mind y'all fucking business when y'all building your credit. And I'm saying it with love. Mind your fucking business. Stop worrying about what other people qualify for. Stop worrying about what so-and-so got from the same bank, even though you've been with this bank longer. Stop worrying about what other people are adding to their credit profiles that's getting them points and all this other stuff, because you don't understand. Your credit report is your financial fingerprint. Your credit report is as unique to you as your fingerprints are. And so your financial journey is different than others. So then the things that you need for your credit profile and the things that they need for their credit profile are two different things. So what they did for their credit profile and it worked for them might not work for you. You have to be able to practice discernment. You have to be able to sit down with yourself and identify your deficiencies and identify what's wrong with your credit profile and make that happen. You see what I'm saying? You cannot sit here and concern yourself with what everybody else is doing. You cannot sit here and concern yourself with what everybody else is adding to their credit profile, because it will not serve you the way that it's serving them. It won't. Somebody told me a very long time ago, and I'll never forget this, that you could take your glasses off and give them to someone else, right? And their vision will not match your vision. And so in saying that, right, your financial journey is not going to be the same as the person next to you. So you got to stop trying to imitate everybody else and learn the things that are going to enable you to make decisions on your own. It's time to stop copying everybody else. Just like you have to be able to understand the concept of credit, how your credit score is calculated, how your credit report plays a part in the credit decision, the different credit scores. So your FICO 2, 4, and 5, those are your mortgage scores. Your FICO 8 is usually the FICO base score that most companies use. Your FICO credit card score, your FICO auto score, your Vantage score 3.0. You need to be able to identify all of these different things and identify what lenders are using what score. You need to be able to know these things so that you can start making decisions that's for you and stop making decisions for other people. Stop making decisions copying other people, thinking you can imitate their success, because they might have an understanding on what works for them. You're doing what works for them, not what works for you. And it's very dangerous. That is very dangerous. I think another cautionary tale that I want to tell you guys with credit cards is that a lot of people get credit cards and then they're not using them. A credit card is only valuable to you if you're using it, especially if you're building or rebuilding. Because remember, you need to establish relationships with banks if you do not have good credit. It's just like the same. I always use the analogy of, let's say you and your friend want to be in the same career field. Your friend has a degree, you do not. Your friend can get in places easier because of their degree. And though it's harder, it's not impossible for you to get into these same spaces. You just have to learn how to network. And so when it comes to building credit, when you're establishing these relationships with these lenders, it's all about building that network. It's all about appearing to them as valuable, building on that relationship, paying on time, consistently low reporting utilization, making sure you have a really good relationship with this lender, because eventually you will have enough of a rapport to where they'll be willing to do things that other lenders won't. For example, Goodwill Letters. When we talk about removing late payments from credit reports, when we talk about removing late payments from open accounts specifically, right? We always talk to you guys about Goodwill Letters. And everybody like, this Goodwill letter didn't work for me, blah, 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 blah. Did you sit down and ever think before you sent the letter off what kind of relationship you have with your lender? Because I am very open about the fact that if you do not have a good relationship with your lender, a Goodwill letter won't work for you. You need to have a good relationship. That means you need to have a history of on-time reporting. That means you can't have 20 missed or late payments and think they're going to remove all 20 just because you paid 1 month on time. That's not how that works. You need to make sure that you are cultivating positive relationships with these lenders, because in doing so, you are making it easier for them to be like, you know what? Here's a credit limit increase. You know what? I'm gonna give you this card right here, girl, because you all right with me. You get what I'm saying? So you need to be able to build on the relationships that you're establishing with lenders. It's not just about your score. I tell you guys this all the time, but I think because your score is really the only representation of what your credit worthiness is without having to scrub your entire report, I feel like people latch onto that, which, okay, I get, like, I understand, but your credit score and your credit profile are two different things. And I really need you guys to grasp that. Your credit score and your credit profile are two different things, though they are related, right? Because there are items that there are accounts you can add to your profile, or whenever you close an account, there's always an effect to your score, right? But there are some times when you do things for your credit report that won't necessarily raise your score, but it will improve your credit worthiness, right? For example, let's say you go to buy a car, right? And you did not go with a pre-approval. And so they ran your credit into the mud, right? They ran your credit 20 times. So now you have 21 inquiries on your credit, even though you did all of the shopping within 30 days, right? And so it only hit your score one time. It still leaves a really dark mark on your credit report, because all of them are annotated on your credit report. Every single inquiry that you got, even though it only hit your score one time, you're still stuck with all of those inquiries. And those inquiries can get you denied for future items. And so by removing these inquiries that are tied to accounts that you never opened, right? Because you only got one car loan. So the other 20 inquiries, you can remove those to improve your profile health. Won't give you any points back, but it will improve the health of your credit profile to kind of increase the chance you have of being approved for other items. And that is what I mean by they are separate. That is what I mean by these things. You really have to understand how credit works and how your credit score is calculated and how everything kind of works together to create the larger picture. It's very, very, very important that you guys understand that, because just imitating everything everybody else do without really understanding why they're doing it is going to end up putting you in a hole. Following those people, who are standing in front of the Aston Martins and the Rolls Royces and the $1 million homes and things like that, while not and doing what they're telling you to do without really understanding why you're doing it, or if it's even legal for a lot of y'all. And I'm talking to y'all with these CPNs. It's going to lead you into a world of trouble. And let me tell you something about credit. You might get away with it now. You might get away with it for a really long time. But eventually, those same things that you were doing that might have worked out for you previously, they're going to stop working. They're going to stop working, or you're going to get caught, or a debt collector is going to sue you and you're not going to know, and then you're going to have a wage garnishment. So it's really important, guys, that you really understand these consumer protection laws, that you understand the dispute process, that you understand how your credit score is calculated, that you understand how to read a credit report. And it's like, I make the content. I'm literally putting in all this work for you guys to teach you guys. And it just be like, y'all just be skipping over all that shit and be like, let's skip to the good part. Like, what? You cannot do that. You can't do that. I had to get that off my chest because I was reading this very long email that really distressed me about what about like somebody who was watching my content, and there's no way they were watching my content. There's no way they've ever seen any of my content. Oh wait, why am I not seeing any questions? Hold up. I'm just saying this. Is it okay that your credit report lists every address you ever had? It depends. Some people, it's not a bad thing, right? I forgot I was supposed to be checking the comments on Facebook too. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you don't have any derogatory accounts, but it could eventually become a bad thing if you've then, if someone who lives at the address who has like a similar name to you or similar initials or something like that, and they start opening up accounts, because you're opening yourself up to the possibility of having a merged credit file. And what that means is you'll think you're a victim of identity theft because you have accounts popping up that are not yours. But because the information this person provided matches the information that you have provided the credit bureaus at some point in time, that makes it so that they think that this is you. And so they'll add it to your credit profile. I've seen it so many times, especially in the case of like family homes, like homes that have been in the families for generations, and then like juniors and seniors, or people who are like something, the second and the third and the fourth. So it's really important that you guys keep this part as clean as possible. Updating your personal information starts with updating your lenders. You guys will move a million times and never let anybody know you moved. You just do the little USPS thing of updating your address and think that that's all that you have to do. And when you're updating your personal information, it always starts with updating your open accounts. Any open bills that you're paying, you need to call them directly and update your personal information with them, and then update your personal information with the credit bureaus. But you just want to make sure that you are keeping the most accurate information reporting. That way, if a derogatory account does pop up with an old address, none of your current accounts, are tied to that address, and you erased that address a long time ago. So it makes it harder for them to verify or validate that debt just based off of the information that you have reporting to the credit bureaus, meaning they'll have to work a little harder when it comes time to start the dispute process. So I hope I answered your question. What other questions y'all got for me? I wasn't planning on being on here long. I'll stay on here a couple of minutes. I just really had to get that little piece off my chest about credit building. Let's get to the good part. That shit, it's just stuck in my head. Y'all don't got no questions? Oh my God. And I felt so bad for getting off earlier because I wasn't able to answer more of you guys' questions earlier when I was on the live because of the time constraint, and I really wanted to get through that STRE information. And shout out to any of you who are in the military. I know today's a really rough day for you guys, so for you guys to stick it out with me and watch the slides and actually ask really good questions. You guys emailed me some really, really good questions, so I'm glad to know that you guys are paying attention. And if you are a leader, if you are it doesn't matter what branch of service you in, Air Force, Navy, Army, Marine Corps, Space Force, I have the slides. I can send you the slides. They're super self-explanatory, or I can even teach it to you guys. You just get on Zoom, or if you're in Virginia, holla. But it's really important that as leaders, you guys pass that information on to your subordinates, because a good leader makes sure that their subordinates are taken care of in every aspect, not just can you do your job, but it's also about, like, is your home life okay? How is your family doing? What your finances look like? You ain't struggling, are you? Do you guys got enough to eat? Like, your subordinates should feel like they can come and talk to you when they have real issues outside of, hey, chief, I can't come to work today because of XYZ, or, just my take. Unpopular opinion. Let's get to the good part. Well, if y'all don't got no questions, I can hop off this live because y'all know I only stay on as long as you guys have questions. Again, if you guys ever have any more questions, you can always email me. My email address is in my TikTok bio, as well as you can just go to my website and fill out a contact me form, and it usually emails me. But my email address is Markia B, so MARKIA, the letter B, at themoneyplug.co. Not .com, .co. I'm still trying to buy the .com. But thank you guys for all the support earlier. I really just wanted to come on here and say it. And super special shout out, right, to I Speak 1906 here on TikTok. I got to interview him today for a future podcast episode. So I'm super excited for that to come out, man. And he's so humble and so inspiring and so motivating, not just, as a TikToker, but, he's still in the service. So for him, and he's accomplished so many great things. Even before his service, he was accomplishing great things. So it's just really, really dope to have those kind of people and to be able, around me, inspiring me, motivating me, breathing life into the things that I'm trying to do and supporting me, right? So, I definitely just want to thank him. I want to thank AB and Shark 901 for helping me make the connection, because if it wasn't for him, I would have never connected with I Speak 1906. I want to thank Sharnisha. Hey girl. Because if it wasn't for you, I would have never even known he existed. And I just, man, it's so many people I want to thank leading up to that moment, because I thought it was really dope. But I can't wait for you guys to hear that episode. It was really, really dope, the conversation that we had. And there are so many more conversations that are going to be coming up in the new season of the podcast. I can't wait to debut it, because I feel like the podcast is finally starting to take shape. I feel like it's finally starting to be something that I want. Oh, thank you so much. And so I don't know, I'm just really excited about that, and for you guys to kind of see the hard work and stuff that's coming behind that. Before I get off of here, I do have 2 workshops coming up this week. June 2nd is the third-party reporting agency workshop. This is where we're going to be going over all of the third-party reporting agencies that you need to know for things like background checks, removing bankruptcies, removing evictions, when you're having issues disputing personal information off your credit report that's not tied to open accounts, any kind of accounts, honestly. Things like that. We're going to be going over, it's a lot of information, so please come with a pen and a pencil, and it's only going to be available on Zoom. We're not going to be live. So in order to register, you can go to my website, themoneyplug.co/events. And then on June 3rd, this one's going to be really, really cool. This is for my high school and my college graduates, but everybody is welcome. And it's called Congratulations, Now What? And we're going to be talking about, now that you guys have graduated and you're entering the world of work, right? What next? How do you start building credit properly? All the stuff that we went over today about like how to read a credit report, what is credit, things like that. Oh, I'm so glad. We're going to be going over so much information for you guys, simply because I know this isn't something that they teach in most schools. So it'll be a really dope experience to be able to sit down and talk to you guys and actually be able to interact with you and answer questions directly instead of you guys having to wait or kind of hold it in thinking it's a dumb question. So I'm super excited about that one as well. And all summer, I'm going to be doing webinars. It's part of the Class About Nothing series. For example, the third-party reporting agency class is called Snitches Get Stitches, because the third-party reporting agencies are the ones who go tell the credit bureaus on you, right? They're the ones who go tell how much credit you're spending, where you live, what's your phone number, bankruptcies, judgments, if you're in the arrears and child support. Third-party reporting agencies to tell a lot of information on you. And then we already talked about the college one that's called Congratulations, Now What? There are going to be so many more webinars coming up this summer. I'm going to do a better job. Let me say that. I'm going to do a better job of promoting them on all the platforms. A lot of times I feel like that kind of content doesn't do well. So I try not to post like advertising content. But I'll make sure that it's somewhere that you guys can kind of get a full list of all of the webinars that were conducted, as well as a place to purchase the replays. And they're like $5, $10, $20. It really just depends on the content in the workshop. And so I have a credit card I haven't used yet. So it's best to use or lose it. Use it. Why would you add it to your profile if you didn't see the value in it? If this is a credit card that can provide some sort of value to you, like even if it's just giving you that on-time payment history and that consistently low reporting utilization that you need to really start establishing a solid credit foundation, use it. Don't just let it sit there. A credit card is only valuable to you if you use it. If you don't use it, they're going to close it unexpectedly at that. So you're going to lose points. And then you're going to be like scrambling, trying to recapture those points at the most awkward of times. So definitely use it. Ooh, I'm going to have a register for that June 2nd. Yeah, so any webinars that I do, if you go to themoneyplug.co/events, you'll be able to see it there. And you'll be able to register like that. Like I said, they're only available on Zoom. We're not going to be live. So, and as new classes roll out, I'll be announcing another class this week. So as new classes roll out, you guys will be able to kind of register for them until the seats are all gone. And every person who registers for the webinar will get the replay. So any more questions before I get off of here and go enjoy I think he ordered Wingstop. I'm going to go enjoy my Wingstop. Whew. Like I said, this was just a little quick live because I really wanted to address that question. That was crazy. Aw, he ordered Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't know if anybody has this where they're from, but y'all know what I've been craving? Hungry Howie's. When I was stationed in Pensacola, there was a Hungry Howie's there, and I ate that shit like every weekend. Hungry Howie's and like I think it was Wing Zone or something like that. Man, if you got a Hungry Howie's near you, and you're on the East Coast, please let me know. I would die for some Hungry Howie's. But I'm gonna go ahead and get off, you guys. It's getting kind of late. And I got shit to do. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. I am going live tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow, about what it is about. But I'm gonna be going live tomorrow around like lunchtime. Alexa, never mind. Yeah, I'll be going live around lunchtime tomorrow. So I will see you all then. As always, thank you so much for all of the support that you guys have shown me over the last like 18 months or so. You guys have truly changed my life. It means so much to me. Y'all know what I always say, live every day like it's your last, but pay your bills and wear condoms just in case it's not. And I will see all of you tomorrow.